People of God, good morning here, and thank God for His goodness in our lives each and every day. He keeps us. This is Apostle David, and today permit me to steer off my usual topics and delve into some of the problems bedeviling the black man and the African continent. People of God, we all live in Africa and should not always be localized, but look a little further into some of the things that are happening on the African continent, which to me are very disturbing and need to be addressed. We as Africans were living at first in families, and those families develop into clans. Those clans develop into communities. Those communities develop into tribal nations. That is how Africans lived since time and eternity. And we live as tribal nations, the Shanti nation, the Achim nation, the Zulu nation, the Xhosa nation. I mean, a lot of nations. The Aroche nation, they are all tribal nations. And that is where we live in, and we were cooperating into tribally. We were having our differences, but yet a lot of tribes are known to have cooperated even before the advent of what is called slave trade and its attendant colonialism. Slave trade and its attendant colonialism. So we Africans are, in essence, we are one entity. From Cape Town to Cairo, we are one. There's nothing called nationhood. The idea of boundaries is just a construct of the white man. When the white man came, there was nothing called boundaries, national boundaries. There was nothing called Zimbabwe. There was nothing called South Africa. There was nothing called Botswana. There was nothing called Namibia. There was nothing called Zambia. There was nothing called Mozambique. There was nothing called Malawi. There was nothing called Burundi. There was nothing called Congo. There was nothing called Angola. There was nothing called Kenya. There was nothing called Chad. There was nothing called Ethiopia. There was nothing like that. Even Ethiopia, that was a Christian state, was not on lines. There was no boundary written. Because Ethiopians believe that we are all Africans. This is something that we have to really think about, because when I heard President Cyril Ramaphosa talking about some Africans needing permit before they can work in South Africa, I was shocked. Why was I shocked? Do you know how some African countries have sacrificed their resources, energy, time to liberate South Africa from apartheid? Do you know how the ANC went to live in Mozambique and Zimbabwe after the Sharpeville massacre? Did they tell them to bring passport or some documents before they can live in Mozambique and Zimbabwe during those times that they were fighting the war of liberation? They were living in Mozambique. They were sharing the land with the Mozambicans. They were eating in Mozambique. They were spending in Mozambique. They were in Mozambique. And using the Mozambican territory, hiding in the Mozambican territory and the Zimbabwe territory. And that was even dangerous than anything. Using another land to attack your own country, into your own land, is dangerous. Yet, the Mozambicans and the Zimbabweans were able to allow them to use that to do it because they knew them as brothers. And as brothers in arms for liberation. This is what they did to be able to help South Africa liberated. Even in my own Ghana, Kwame Nkrumah, who wanted every black man to be liberated, used a lot of Ghana's money in Africa. That's why Ghana, we are not rich today. Ghana could have been rich if Nkrumah had focused on only Ghana, because Ghana were Gold Coast. When the British were leaving, they left us big money. The British left Ghana big bags, big money. And if Nkrumah could have used those monies to develop only Ghana, Ghana could have been very rich today. But Kwame Nkrumah did not do that. Kwame Nkrumah was seeking for the total liberation of Africa. He used Ghana's money, even he borrowed Guinea money, he borrowed other countries' money, he started fighting for them even in Africa. The whole of Africa, Nkrumah was using Ghana's money to liberate people. The one we called Robert Gabriel Mugabe, that you know, who liberated Zimbabwe, was a product of Kwame Nkrumah. He was trained and mentored by Kwame Nkrumah. Nkrumah used Ghana's money in order to liberate Africa. Nkrumah did not say, I'm thinking about only Ghana. Immediately he had independence. He said, the independence of Ghana is meaningless unless it's linked to the total liberation of Africa. That is how an African statesman speaks. An African gentleman speaks. Somebody who thinks about Africa speaks. Not the way Ramaphosa was speaking. Excuse me, President Ramaphosa. He should be the last person, I repeat, considering the historical antecedents of his country, for the lack of a better word, his country. He should be the last person to think about somebody requiring documents. Go and ask President, this man who was after Mandela, I forgot his name, the one who became president after Mandela. He said after at Nelson Mandela's funeral, he was using Tanzanian passport. I repeat, he was, as a diplomatic courtesy, he was using Tanzanian passport in moving around Africa. That is very gentle. When you use your passport to cover up somebody. But the Tanzanians sacrificed and they used their passport. They gave Thabo Mbeki, that's the name. He gave Thabo Mbeki the passport, and he was moving around Africa, moving to the United Nations, because the apartheid government refused to give Thabo Mbeki passport. That is good brotherliness. That is how Africans should behave. That is the nature of Africans. Every tribe in Africa knows this. That is why when you go to some place, they give you cola as a sign of welcoming. Our nature to welcome other people, that is what cost us the slave trade. That is what cost us the colonialism. That is why Africans are not respected around the world now. They see Africans as a chattel, as a slave. Because of the slave trade. It's still indelible in the very psyche of the African man. The slave trade And this attended colonialism never afforded the black man the opportunity to rise up as an equal partner in the global community. And today, wherever you go, the black man is not respected. The black man is not respected because of this slave trade, because of this colonialism that killed most of our brethren, that killed most of our brothers. Some were thrown into the sea. Our resources were taken into foreign lands. A lot of things have happened. But in all, let's put everything down and look into the future. These two devils, twin devils of the slave trade and colonialism, had brought us down. I'm telling you, because if the reason why China is China today, the reason why India is India today, is because of their population size. If you look at Africa's size and you look at the number of people in Africa, we are not many, about 1.2 billion, compared to the land mass or the land size of Africa. We could have been more. Because if China, a very small land size, is over 1.45 billion, Africa, racially talking, in terms of ratio, Africa should have been about 6 billion. But because of the slave trade, we don't have the numbers. We don't have the numbers because we are scattered. Even though we are 1.2 billion, we are scattered on a very long surface. Big surface of land. So Africa cannot still are lacking the numbers in terms of population. We can't be part of the global community as the way we want it. Our brothers are in Brazil. Our brothers are in America. Our brothers are in Europe. So some of our brothers were thrown into the sea. So that should tell you that as a president of South Africa, a country that depends on the goodwill of many other South African nations and even African nations at large, this man, who in his representative capacity as the president of South Africa, should never, ever have said that. No matter what, even if you are seeking for votes, you shouldn't go that low. I wonder who advises the president. I wonder who advises him. Because sometimes the way you talk will let me know that those who are advising you are not doing their work well. Look at Julius Malema, a young man. Look at how he spoke. He spoke about African unity. He spoke about the need to come together. He spoke about once of the big man. This man is well informed. Even though his party is not like the ANC, his party is the EFF. This guy seems to be making sense than the ANC presidential candidate. I'm sorry, but let the truth be told. I'm not a supporter of Malema, but I listened to Malema's speech and I listened to Ramaphosa's speech, and something struck me. I mean, as a freeborn, as a free thinker, this is not the way we are Africans supposed to talk. This is not the way Ramaphosa is supposed to talk. Go to Europe, they are forming the European Union. Go to Europe, right now they are forming the European Union. They see each other as brothers. They see each other as brothers. They are working together in the European Union, whereby Britain, Germany, France, they see all of them. They see us as brothers, and they are right. They are brothers. If you look at their history, if you look at their historical antecedents, they are brothers. So they say, okay, we are brothers. Let's form the European Union. See how nice it is? But we Africans will form the African Union, and we still talk the way Ramaphosa is talking. Now, Ramaphosa, I learned, is a vendor. And I want to give the history of the Venda people. Venda is a group of Bantu. Venda people are Bantus. And every Bantu is from West Africa. Listen to what I'm saying. every Bantu, if you're a Bantu, whether you are a Zulu, you are a Zosa, you are a Venda, you are a Pedi, you are whatever you are, a Bantu, you are a West African. I'm going to give you the history of Bantus. Ramaphosa, if you are there listening to me, whatever, I'm sorry you are the president of South Africa, but I have to tell you as a black man and as a fellow African that I have to give you this history. If you don't believe, you can check in your history books, you can check in your encyclopedias, in your dictionaries, in the books that you use in your curriculum. I'm sure it will be there. The Pedi or the Venda people are related a little bit because they are all in the northern South Africa. But I'm trying to tell you that the Venda, which you are, the ethnic group, which I learned you are, if I'm right, are Bantus. And Bantus migrated from West Africa. What we call South Africa today was inhabited by the Khoisan or the Khoi, not Bushman. There's nothing called Bushman. They're not Bush. They are Khoi or the Khoisan. And they drifted a long time in history, into where they are, into the Kalahari, Namibia, South Africa, and southern tip of Mozambique. They were the Khoi people, Botswana, the Khoi people of the Kalahari. They are the original, or even the long time immemorial livers, inhabitants of South Africa. They were living in South Africa before the Bantus, which you are, came there. You, the Bantus, migrated from Nigeria, Western Nigeria, or Eastern Cameroon, and you walked down to South Africa. You walked through Congo. Some of the Bantus were left in Congo. You walked through Kenya. Some of the Bantus were left. Some of the Bantus marched to Kenya. You walked through Tanzania. Some of the Bantus went to Tanzania. You walked through Mozambique. Some of the Bantus went to Mozambique. You walked through Namibia. Some Bantus in Namibia. You walked through the Congo forest. Some Bantus in Congo. And if you are from Congolese, if you're Congolese, listen to me carefully. If you are Congolese and you are of a Bantu stock, you are not originally a Congolese. The original Congolese is what we call a pygmy. The original Congolese man, the one who has stayed in the forest of Congo, Central Africa, since time immemorial, is the pygmy. The pygmies are the original inhabitants of what is called Dr. Congo and Congo, Central Africa. And when the Bantus went to Congo, they decimated the population of the pygmies. The pygmies are little now. Few are left. The pygmies live in the forest of Gabon, the forest of Congo, the forest of Dr. Congo, the forest of Angola. The pygmies own those areas. But the Bantus from West Africa, they went to those places and they decimated the population of the pygmies. And some of the Bantus went further south. The Zulus, the Xhosas. The Shona, the Baroche people, the Lingala people, they went south and they went to South Africa. The Zulus and the Xhosas and the Vendas and the Pedis, they all went south. And they went to meet the Khoi and the Khoisan. And some of the Zulus and the Khoi and the Khoisan, they intermarried. And because of that, some of the Zulus were able to get land through intermarriage. The Khoi and the Khoisan are still, some of them are still there in South Africa right now. The Bantus also fought the Khoi and the Khoisan. in some of the wars. And some of the Bantus gained some lands. So what you, Ramaphosa, you are nothing but you are a Niger Congo. Every Bantu is a Niger Congo. There are six, or I'll say six for now, but later I'll say it's 5 groups of language in Africa. The black man can be divided into 5 languages. The languages spoken in Africa, it can be divided into 5. You have the Niger Congo language. The Niger Congo language is the biggest in Africa. We have the Nilo-Saharan, the Chad area, the South Californian in Sudan, Central African Republic. The languages spoken there are Nilo-Saharan. Nilo-Saharan. Then we have the Afro-Asiatic, like Ethiopia, Somaliland, Egypt, Algeria. All those areas are Afro-Asiatic. Afro-Asiatic. You see? Then we have the Austronesian, Madagascar. Madagascar, the language spoken there, all the island of Madagascar is Austronesian. Then we have the Europeans who came later in the Cape Town area. They are the Indo-European. So Africa has 5 languages. But because of the Bantu migration, the Bantu language is nothing but a subset of the Niger Congo. Listen to me. Zulus, Pedi, Zazes, all the Bantu group, their languages are just a subsection of what we call the Niger Congo. So that's why for the Bantus are from West Africa. Their blood is from West Africa. Even though now they have a little bit of Khoi blood, their majority, about 90% of their blood stock is from West Africa. So if you know history very well, there's no way Cyril Ramaphosa said this. Maybe it's for political expediency or something, but that is even wrong. It's a bad strategy. You can win the presidency, but you are alienating your country. You are alienating your people from the rest of Africa. That's not the way we do politics. That's greedy politics. Politics of convenience. That's wrong. That's greedy because you are thinking about yourself and not thinking about your people. Do you know that? Do you know what you are doing to your people? Do you know what you are doing to your people? Do you know what you are doing to your people? The kind of name you are giving to your people, Mr. Ramaphosa, President Ramaphosa. I don't think Thabo or Zuma will say these things. It's very bad, you know. We don't do this. I mean, you have to get a good strategist who will advise you well. I like you, but this is very bad talk. I like you. Ever since you came and I like the way you move because I've seen you during the, transition period, the kind of role you played, you know, it made me like you. But what you said yesterday has really, I mean, expose you as somebody who don't really think about Africans in general, but think about how you can win the presidency tomorrow. It's very bad. You don't do that. So, every South African, especially the Bantus, you are from West Africa. That is what I'm telling you today. We're not different from the West Africans. We're not different from those in Kenya, especially the Kiguyus. You came together with the Kiguyus. You think that you are different from the Kiguyus in Kenya? The Zulu and the Kiguyus are not different because when you were coming, the Kiguyus decided to pass through to the east, and they went to Kenya. Some of you came south, some of you came southwest. You ended up in Mozambique. So you are not different as a vendor man from the one in Kiguyu. You are not different as a vendor man from the one in Baroche, Zambia. They're not different from the Shona man in Zimbabwe. They're not different from the Those who are in Bulawayo, I forget their name. They are not different from them. Maybe even your language exposes that fact. If you go to Zimbabwe, the people who were led by Milikazi to Bulawayo, they speak Ama. They say Ama. Zulu say Amazulu. Sometimes even the similarities in the languages in South Africa and in East Africa should tell you the fact that you are coming from a common ancestor. So if today Mozambicans are in our land, even the Zulus and the Swazis, what's the difference? A Swazi man and a Zulu man. Zulus form the Swazi kingdom. So what's the difference between that? If you know your history, to know all this stuff, you know that this kind of national boundaries are just a common distraction. Common distraction. It's not, to me, it's just funny. Very soon, all these boundaries will be removed. I'm thanking God to come. The world order doesn't like the idea of countries. It brings about segregation. And the current world order is about integration. The current world order is about integration. That is what I'm telling you. What is going to happen in the future is about integrating the people of the world, not segregating the people of the world, as RAMAPHOSA seeks to do. People sacrifice their lives for South Africa. People sacrifice their money. People sacrifice diplomatic courtesies for South Africa. In fact, it's a country in Africa that enjoys from other countries, that gain the support of other countries in South Africa. But yet look at how Ramaphosa and his ANC has betrayed us. I'm sure some people in ANC will not agree with him. I'm sure some people who are really wise will not agree with Ramaphosa. But what he said is very, very bad. It's very bad. It's very bad. I think he has to apologize if only he would do that. Because you can't take us for a ride. Africans have struggled. People died in South Africa because of this fight from apartheid. And the only thing you can come and tell us that we need documents, you need that, you need what? Really? Really? So, what I'm trying to say is, Africa has come a long way. They've come a long way. Since the time of colonialism, during the time of colonialism, except Ethiopia, which have African head of state, the emperor, every black man was under the white man's rule. But gradually, the black man was able to survive. The black man was able to rise up. We had black leaders, black presidents, black intellectuals. After a long time hiatus in the dark, in the abyss of intellectualism and of a self-esteem, the black man came on the global stage again. That was after independence. And the black man is gradually climbing up. We have to work together. We have to work together because some of the statements can lead to xenophobic attacks. You are a leader. Your people look up to you. Whatever you say carry weight, Mr. Ramaphosa. That is why this xenophobic attack has begun again. It went down, but your statement seems to have risen up the beast. Child of God, I want you to know that as Africans, we have to work together and look at our common problems and solve it. We have to talk about unity in strength, and forget about this national boundary construct. The national boundary construct, to me, is a nuisance and a common, troublesome lines. If you go to Ghana, there are accounts in Ghana, just across the border, there are accounts in Cote d'Ivoire. Who gave them the right to draw the boundaries? If you go to Ghana, there are Votarians in Ghana. Right across the border in Togo, there are another Ewes in Togo. Others in Ghana, others in Togo, divided by a boundary, an unseen boundary. Some speaking French, some speaking English. Who gave them the right to draw that line? If you go to Nigeria, the Akwa Ibom people, the Efik, Ibibio, the Anan, some in Cameroon, some in Nigeria, just a border drawing between the two groups, the one in Nigeria and the one in Cameroon. Who gave them the right to do that? And Africans are still happy. And you see, oh, you are Cameroonian, you are Nigeria, you are this there, you are this there. Fiakwa. I don't regard that. I'm not going to buy that idea of the seat and troublesome. God bless you all. I will not talk much again. This is Apostle David, and that was my opening letter to President Cyril Ramaphosa and the ANC. You have to understand that the Bantus are from West Africa. They're what they call the Niger Congo B, and they have to know that border construct is nothing but something that was created by the white man to as a form of destruction. Even what we call Italy, France, Germany, they never existed. They never existed. I will not even say the white man is I'll say some group of, I don't know how to, some intellectual white men. They think that overland. Because not all white men agree to that nation thing. The nation thing is just worry because some Poles are in Germany, some Poles might be in Poland, and how do you classify all those things? It's just a waste of time. God didn't give us; it's unnatural. The nation thing is unnatural. Let's clear it away. God bless you for listening to me. I'll come back again later. God bless you.